This, my friends, is a bar of Caramac chocolate. Probably the finest tasting chocolate you will ever have. And if you don't agree, you've probably got something wrong with your taste buds and should see a doctor. This is a bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Again, a fine tasting chocolate, but in a different way. You will, however, notice that the Caramac bar is significantly smaller than the Cadbury's bar. And that's because although Caramac tastes amazing, having more than 1 or 2 bars at a time can be a little bit too much. Whereas you can quite happily munch your way through this much larger Cadbury's bar and be enjoying the first block as much as the last. The Caramac bar really sums up the way I feel about Zombie Army Trilogy. It is an amazing game, one of the best I've played in a long time. But you don't want to play it for too long at a time, or it can get a little bit too much. The larger Cadbury's bar is like Battlefield, another amazing game, but one that I feel I can sit down and play for several hours and not be overwhelmed. Whereas with Zombie Army Trilogy, I feel about an hour is enough and it's time to play something else. So, if you approach Zombie Army Trilogy with the same attitude, I'm positive you'll find it becomes one of your favourite games too. Zombie Army Trilogy, at its heart, is a simple, third-person zombie shooter, which you can play alone or co-op, with linear levels, a bit like Left 4 Dead, where you progress from safe house to safe house, dispatching thousands of the undead along the way. What makes Zombie Army Trilogy special, though, is its setting in an alternate ending to World War II, where Hitler has unleashed an army of zombies as a last effort to win the war, and Germany is a wasteland. Even more than that, though, it's the contrast between the long-range sniping, the submachine gun shooting and sidearm combat that makes the game such a treat. As the zombie horde bear down on you, you've got to keep your cool and snipe them for as long as you can, moving around the level if the area allows, laying mines, booby traps and throwing grenades, but at some point the zombies are going to get too close and you're going to have to use your machine gun, your shotgun, your explosives, your pistol, or even just kick them back and stomp on their heads to stay alive. This dance between slow and deliberate sniping and the manic close-range fighting really mixes the gameplay and keeps you on your toes, especially when the game throws in elite zombies that take many more headshots than the usual type, and you've got to retreat to get out of their range and give yourself enough time to take them down. The version of Zombie Army Trilogy you're seeing in this video is a remaster of the original 2 add-ons for the PC version of Sniper Elite V2, and they also created a 3rd chapter specifically for the release, and on the PS4 lots of the levels look stunning, with the lighting effects and sounds really standing out. When you first start playing Zombie Army Trilogy, it's quite bare-boned and feels a little empty, but as you progress through, the game will impress you more and more with the visuals and the gameplay. By the time you get to the 3rd chapter, the game becomes a little bit more self-aware, throws in more NPCs for you to interact with, and there are some simply stunning levels. In fact, as I was playing through the 3rd chapter, I had to stop myself sharing so much of the gameplay on YouTube, as I didn't want to spoil it for people who hadn't played it yet, but I also wanted to encourage people to buy the game because it's so damn good. As I've said, the campaign is simple but very engaging, and you've also got single player horde mode where you can take on ever increasing waves of zombies to try and stay alive for as long as you can. But don't get me wrong, some of the levels from the campaign are incredibly hard, even on the sort of 1-up from easy Marksman level I was playing on. So much so that a couple of times I had to search YouTube for walkthroughs to see what tactics I should be using at certain points. The fun to be had playing Zombie Army Trilogy doubles as soon as you go online, where you can play horde mode with friends or randoms and face an even larger number of the undead, or play the campaign cooperatively, where again the game will ramp up the number of zombies to reflect the number of players in the level. I bought Zombie Army Trilogy on a whim when it went down to a tenner in the January PlayStation Store sale, and I've got to say it's without a doubt one of the best games I've played for a long time. A simple story combined with great shooting mechanics that make it addictive and fun. So, Zombie Army Trilogy is absolutely, definitely worth buying cheap, and I highly recommend it. Okay, that's enough from me. Please put your questions and comments down below. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of the same. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.